Good evening and welcome to DeLaguna. Lauren Order, thank you so much for being here tonight. Tonight we have RBR versus Linwood. As you can see, we have 3 jurors on screen who are going to remain anonymous. We're going to keep them up on screen during jury instructions, which we didn't have last time. So if you were here last time, we did not do jury instructions. But this time we're going to be much more legal. That's what you guys asked for. You wanted a legitimate legal battle, and that's what we're doing. So thank you for the comments last time and the constructive criticism, and we've adapted them into the show. So let's get started with jury instructions. So we are looking at a defamation case today. RBR is suing Linwood for defamation. So let's look at what the definition of defamation is. Henry, go ahead and pull up what defamation is, please. Oh, and also this is a good time to tell everybody if you want me to say anything, all super chats will be read during jury deliberations. So at the end of closing arguments, the jurors will go into a private room. We will record that session. That session will be available the following day or maybe the day after. Until that, but at the time that they're deliberating, we'll be able to read the super chat. Okay. Definition of, okay, can you scroll down to where it says elements? To prove a prima facie defamation, a plaintiff must show 4 things: a false statement purporting to be a fact, publication or communication of that statement to a third person, false purporting to be at least negligence. So it's negligence if RBR is not famous. It's malice if RBR is famous. And finally, damages. So some sort of harm to the reputation of the person or the entity. Now, damages do not have to be shown if it's a defamation per se statement. Now, there's also defenses. So let's just go over the defenses really quick. Henry, can you please bring up the second link? Okay, scroll down. Okay, so we have truth of the matter said. Keep going. So we got all the bold. Absolute privilege. So this one shouldn't apply, but if you have some privilege, such as a senator on the floor of the House will have the ability to argue. They have a constitutional right. That doesn't apply here. Keep going. Qualified privilege. Innocent construction. So like if you, for instance, if you have a lot of background information that would lead you to the inference of your statement, and then you can show that background information that would lead to your statement, that would be innocent construction. And then opinion. So if you show that that's not a fact-based statement, if you show it's an opinion-based statement, then there's no liability. Another thing last time is I said guilty versus not guilty, and actually that's incorrect. It should be liability. So the jurors are going to determine whether or not whether or not Linwood is liable for defamation of RBR. Jurors, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and put you backstage now. When you're backstage, you're more than welcome to leave and come back. Just make sure that you come back at the end. So go ahead.
Lauren, we have a juror asking if we could repeat the part about malice and public figures, please.
Sure. So if RBR is a famous person, right, you have to show that the defendant intended to say a false statement. You have to show the defendant intended to say.
No, that's not true, Lauren. That's not true, Lauren. I'm a public figure. It ain't famous. It ain't the celebrity apprentice. No, I'm a public figure. Like, okay.
So,
Ron DeSantis is not famous.
Okay. So the way that it works,
the governor of Florida, he's a public figure. So it ain't got shit to do with.
I'm going to need you to let me do jury instructions. I'm going to do jury instructions. Okay, I'm going to do jury instructions, and then I'll add you back in a second. So if RBR is what's called a public figure, right? Then you have to show malice. But if he's not a public figure, then you just have to show negligence. So the example that I like to give is, let's say you saw Britney Spears shave her head, and you are a reporter and you say, oh my gosh, Britney Spears likely has lice. I saw her shave her head. Now, that would be negligent because you didn't really have any facts for that. But is it malice? Did you know it not to be true? It probably wouldn't reach the level of malice. So if you said Susie, some non-famous person, just because she shaved her head, if you started telling everyone she had lice, then maybe you would have defamation, but not against Britney Spears. Hopefully that clears it up. Okay. We are going to start with the plaintiff. Go ahead, give your opening arguments.
All right. Well, good. Hello, am I on? Is my
You
mic
are?
on?
Your mic is on?
Oh, good. Well, what I'm here to show, first thing I want to say to the jury is I'm not on trial here. Now, keep in mind, I have many years of experience, constitutional law experience. I am the real brother. I've been a journalist since I was in the 7th grade. All right. The Sharpless newspaper, I was the sports editor. Then I was the sports editor at Franklin High School in Seattle, Washington. And then I started working at the CBS affiliate in Seattle. And then I started working, I did a TV show called Consensus for like about 5-6 years throughout my time in college. I've done radio, I've done television. I used to work at BET. And currently for the last 10-15 years, I've owned the Real Brother Radio Network and the Real Brother Radio Network for Women and the Real Brother Radio Network for Sports. I've made over 150 movies, I've written plenty articles. I have a website, realbrotherradionetwork.com. I am indeed a public figure, but the fact is I have so much more experience in the law than any of you. I have more education, more experience, and more knowledge. So yes, you're going to hate me. I'm Obama to you. You don't like me because black people are supposed to be inferior. We're supposed to have low IQs and we're supposed to be stupid. I'm not on trial here. Linwood is. So what I'm going to show today in today's trial is that for black people who believe that white people are superior, which would consist of 90% of black people in the general population and 99.9% of black people on black YouTube, they believe white people are superior and that Jesus is white and God is white. And so the main argument that I will show is that the reason Linwood said, if we elect racists who want to kill everybody on earth who's not white and not in the top 1%, they'll kill you. And then stupid people who dropped out of school in the 3rd grade, who flunked out of college, who can barely count to 10, will get a seat at the table with Vladimir Putin and Jill Stein and Michael Flynn and Bernie Sanders and Dylan Roof. I'm going to prove that this is detrimental to all of society, because if you take the educated class out of society and leave the Trump nuts and the Nazi nuts and the 3rd grade dropouts, what kind of society could you expect to have? Now, I understand people who are uneducated, uncivilized, lack morality, would want to be in charge of the government. I understand that white people who don't have the education, don't have the experience, don't have the knowledge, would like to kill everybody who does. The 3rd graders would love to kill the college professors and the scientists and the doctors, but you can't do that. Lauren is going to be a great lawyer, but not 2 days after she graduates law school, not 2 days after she passes the bar. She's going to be a great lawyer in 10 years or 15 years. I was not the real brother. When I was in the 7th grade, when I was in Miss Spradlin's journalism class, I wasn't who I was. When I was in high school, I wasn't who I was. When I was in college, I wasn't who I was. I was on I was on the air, I was broadcasting, I was writing. That's fine. But I didn't really hit my stride until later. And so that's who I am. So yes, you're jealous of me because you think I was born yesterday when you met me. You think I was born when you met me. I was born long before you encountered me. So you have no right to hate me. I put in the work. You made a choice to listen to some racist tell you that your race was superior to our race, so you didn't have to do anything with your life. You could just go through life lying and calling us pedophiles and saying that it's niggas like me. Well, it's niggas like me who controlled the country for the Democratic Party for the last 60 years. It's niggas like me that gave blacks voting rights and civil rights and kept the damn Russians from overthrowing the government. Now, I know you love the Russians. I know you're rooting for Putin and stumping for Trump. We're trying to destroy society so you could use your guns to kill the racial and ethnic minorities in this country. I know that. Linwood doesn't. Why? Because you're lying to him that if he takes out us, then he will get a seat at the table. I would like to present evidence that there's no room at the table for a college dropout, third grade Nazi nut, black as midnight, who couldn't possibly sit at the table next to Putin. He's a staunch racist. So we will prove tonight that if they kill us, humanity is doomed. Why? Because white people are the dumbest race of people on earth. You certainly couldn't govern. And the third grade black people who believe every lie you tell them, the conscious morons of the world, they can't govern either. The Linwoods of the world, they can't govern. And this will prove without a reasonable doubt, first of all, what he said was not true. Second of all, it was malice. Why? Because it could end all humanity. You elect one of these Nazis, you give Trump a second term? Huh? We couldn't. President Obama, the black genius, he said America could hardly stand one term of Trump without him killing everybody on earth with the coronavirus. We could not stand two. So we got nuts in the chat room putting up Trump and Putin 2024. Linwood is black. Why the hell would Linwood want Trump and Putin? Okay? These people can't stand his black behind. Now, you don't get to say that I'm rambling. You don't know the definition of rambling. Henry, put up the definition of rambling and see if what I'm telling in my opening arguments is rambling. It's not. These are facts. And when you're in a court of law, you don't go by your racist opinion. Just because you hate me, just because you envy me, just because you're jealous of me, that doesn't make you superior to me. You couldn't hold a candle to me. And that means that I'm rambling? No, it just means you're too dumb to understand what I'm saying. Thank you.
Is that the end of your opening argument?
Yes. Yes. May the best real brother win.
Perfect. Okay. Go ahead, Linwood.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would like to deeply apologize for the plaintiff's insults and indignations toward you.
Objection. Objection. The plaintiff is not on trial. Objection,
so no
Your Honor.
objections during the opening argument.
I said.
Sorry, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury and those in the courtroom, I sincerely apologize for what you just heard. It was insulting. It was demeaning. And I, as the defendant in this case, apologize to you for the plaintiff's behavior and actions. This case is about defamation. Can anyone be sued, whether they're a content creator on YouTube, whether they're a social media personality, for defaming a person of anything? Currently with Carly B being defamed by Tasha K for having a sexually transmitted disease. And knowingly, Miss K knowingly kept defaming Miss Cardi B, even when Miss Cardi B did not have a sexually transmitted disease. Is that grounds for defamation? Yes. The recent case with Fox News suing or being sued by Dominion Voting Systems, when Fox News hosts as well as commentaries kept going on their airwaves lying that the 2020 election was stolen from President Trump. Even when his lawyers and legal experts said to Fox News's producers of certain shows, we don't have the evidence to back up that actually happened. They continuously, for months on end, kept going on their airwaves saying the election was stolen, Dominion voting systems had connections to Venezuela, to the late great Hugo Chavez, to some sort of software system flipping votes from Biden to Trump. And when the actual truth got out that they actually hid the evidence, or they failed to turn over evidence to Dominion, the case was pretty much null and void. That's why today Fox News had to settle for $787.5 million. In this country, you cannot defame somebody for profit. You cannot lie on somebody for profit. Today, we're at a serious precedent between journalism and opinionism, and those two lines are being blurred. So today's public doesn't know if it's journalistic or if it's opinion. And as we go forward with this defamation suit, I want you to also understand that the plaintiff has as well used defaming language towards former President Donald Trump. And I will be presenting that to you in the questions and answers when we cross-examine with one another. I thank all of you for taking this time to take time out of your night to be on this program in this court. Thank you for hearing me out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your opening arguments, both of you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Fox News is not on trial. He is. I object, Your Honor.
Ended. So now it is your time, RBR, to question Linwood. Linwood, you're not. Now, hold on. Before we go into this, RBR, if you disagree with an answer Linwood gives,
shut up. Stop insulting.
You can provide evidence to prove that he is wrong, but you cannot turn around and say you're wrong. Go ahead and start with your questions.
I would like to ask the court for the judge to stop insulting me. I know more about law in my little pinky finger than she knows in her whole life. First of all, you would have to define evidence. The evidence has a meaning, and I showed the meaning on my show, and you did good.
Okay, once again, this is not your time to testify. You had opening arguments. This is now your time to ask Linwood questions. If you want to use the time to testify, your last time to do that is closing arguments. Please begin your questioning of Linwood.
Okay. All right. Now, do you know what the trial is about today, Linwood? What do you think that this trial is about? What do you think the charges against you are?
The charges against me are defaming you and saying that you wanted to kill white people.
And you also said that you want to put Donald Trump, the Nazi, and Vladimir Putin, the communist, in power because you thought they would kill niggers like me. Now, what did you mean by?
You can't just testify. You can't just give a statement.
No, I'm asking you a question, bitch.
You have to, so you could say, "Isn't that correct?" at the end, but you can't just make a statement.
Bitch is dumb as the fucking day is long. Let me continue. Now, if you said it is your testimony, you said in your opening statement that I defamed Donald Trump. Vladimir Putin. Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay, great. You said that I defamed Donald J. Trump, who wanted to kill everybody on earth who wasn't white. Do you understand what defamed means? Do you understand what that defamation of Adolf Hitler would mean? George Zimmerman. I defamed George Zimmerman. Do you understand that? Do you understand what it means to say that someone defamed someone?
Yes.
What does it mean? So how could I have defamed a president that is about to go to prison for trying to kill everybody on earth who wasn't white? How, in your opinion, how did I defame him?
On your show on a regular basis, you make statements that President Trump killed 8 million civilians with the coronavirus.
Well, how many civilians do you think died from the coronavirus?
In the United States,
I
500,000.
didn't say, there's a big world here, and the United States would. Do you think that the United States is the entire world?
No.
Oh, well, how many people died of the coronavirus in the entire world?
That I don't know.
I do. It's Your Honor. Should we? What should we do? Because I have proof. I just go to Google and type in how many people worldwide have died from Trump's coronavirus.
The way that you could have done that
Henry.
is said, the way that you could have done that is said, would you believe me if I said that the number of people who died of coronavirus worldwide is this number? That's how you could have introduced that. So you
would that be? Would you consider that evidence, Your Honor?
If he responded yes, the jury is allowed to believe your questions and his response, and he can respond no, that seems like an unreasonable number, and then at that point you could bring in evidence showing the correct number. I would also wonder what the relevance of this.
Well, the relevance is he said I defamed him. Now, I can go another tack. That's fine.
Right.
That's fine.
But he's on trial for defamation, not you. So
I know he thinks I'm on trial. Well, you have to understand he's dumb as a doorknob. He thinks I'm on trial, and I'll go with it. Now, I'll go another. I withdraw the question. Okay.
Okay.
Are you familiar with George Zimmerman's trial against Trayvon Martin's parents for calling him a murderer?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay. Now, that case was thrown out of court. Why? George Zimmerman claimed that they defamed his character by saying he was a murderer.
So once again, you're not allowed to add evidence.
Objection.
Like that.
I'm not adding evidence. I'm asking him a question. Why was the case thrown out?
Your Honor, object.
You can't object. You're on the stand.
He's allowed to object.
Your Honor, I object because I want the context of the question that he's going to ask me about Mr. Zimmerman suing Mr. and Mrs. Fulton.
Foundation, relevance, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you please explain relevance to this line of questioning and how it?
Because if I defamed, Donald Trump for simply stating a fact that 8 million people died of the coronavirus, the judge in the Trayvon Martin case said, which is worse, actually killing Trayvon Martin or suing his parents for saying you were a murderer because you killed their son? Which one is worse?
What relevance does that have to do with?
Okay, if I say Donald Trump killed 8 million people with the coronavirus, what's worse? Me saying that Donald Trump killed 8 million people with the coronavirus, or Donald Trump killing 8 million people with the coronavirus?
Your Honor, I object to the line of questioning. Because I would like to
be defaming him. I
RBR.
know what defamation is.
So RBR, listen. You have to keep your line of questioning to the issue at hand. You are trying to prove that Linwood said something, that it was said to another person, that it caused you damage, and that the statement was false, right? Those were the 4 elements, Henry. Let's bring up the 4 elements again. You have to stay relevant to those issues.
Okay. Can I respond and show you the relevancy, Your Honor?
What is the relevance?
The relevance is he said in his opening statement in front of a lot of people, including you, that I defamed Donald Trump, the Nazi who wanted to kill everybody on earth who wasn't white and wasn't in the top richest 1%.
I object
relevancy
to a line of questioning.
I'm speaking right now.
Go ahead.
I'm speaking right now. All right. So the relevance is he doesn't understand what the word defamation means. Now, if you think, but that's, I'm sorry.
He doesn't have to understand what defamation
he's suing me for defamation, and he doesn't know what defamation is. I would like the jury to make a note of that. I'm suing him for defamation. he doesn't know what defamation is. Please make sure that you enter that into your notes.
The jury gets to make their own decisions based
No,
on
no,
your questions, but
I
your
get to make my
questions
own
must be
cross-examination. Now,
So-
here we go. So here we go. Hold on. Okay, I accept that. Thank you, Your Honor. I apologize for telling the truth. Now,
Please continue with your line of questioning.
here's my line of questioning. Now, is it possible that at the time of the defamation, which was 5 minutes ago, that you probably, if in fact it's true that you didn't know what the definition of defamation was, that maybe you didn't realize that you were defaming me when you said that the Nazis were going to get in power and kill niggas like me so coons like you can sit at the table? Is it possible your ignorance of what defamation is why you defamed me? Is that possible?
No.
Okay. Now, if in fact, are you familiar with the phrase that under a court of law, ignorance is not a defense? If you didn't know that you have to stop at the red light, so you ran the red light and killed a family of 4, is it legal to say I didn't know that I had to stop at a red light?
So I'm
Is that
going
a
to stop you
defense?
here. You're not allowed in court to get to the legal aspect. That's
No,
for the jury.
we're in a court.
It
Okay,
is
well,
for
bring
the
up the next
jury.
prize, and I'll tell you what the prize. I'll bet on the prize.
You have to let me. It is for the jury to decide whether or not something. It is for the jury to decide issues of facts and for them to come to the deliberation. You're not to ask this person who's not a legal expert questions of matter of law. You're not allowed to ask them questions of matter of law. Ask them about the case. Ask them about the issues at hand. Ask them about what they published. Was it true? Were they malicious? Try to prove your case against him because this is a defamation case.
That's exactly what I'm doing. You're just too dumb because you don't know what it means. If you don't know what defamation it means, you're saying I didn't run the red light and kill anybody because I didn't know that you had to stop at the red light. I'm saying, is it possible? And he answered the question, so you can't tell me to undo it. The jury heard him say that if it's impossible for him not to know that you stop at a red light. So if he doesn't have to stop at a red light.
We object to that. I object, Your Honor. I object, Your Honor.
Okay, I agree. Sustained. We're moving on. RBR, continue your line of questioning now. Stop testifying. Stop talking. Start asking questions.
Ask him a question, but don't talk. Okay, what am I supposed to use? Sign language? Okay, here's a question. Did you know that you were defaming me when you said the Nazis were going to get into power and kill niggas like me so idiots like you can sit at the table with Putin and Trump? Did you know that was defamation?
No, because I was stating an opinion after you have insulted myself as well as several guests on your show.
Putin, I insulted Putin. Remember that, and George Zimmerman. Okay,
no, excuse me, to the plaintiff. You actually, to answer your question,
and you answered the question.
I said that statement based on the fact that I couldn't get a chance to even express my views or an opinions on your show. Okay. You kept using name calling and insulting and inflammatory remarks toward me.
Now, which one of us is on trial again?
As well as other guests on your show.
To me, then it's irrelevant, Your Honor. Your Honor, objection irrelevant. He's not suing me. I'm not on trial here. Did you know Conscious, as dumb as Conscious Moron was, he knew I was a defendant.
You can't object to your own questions.
No, he asked the question. Now let me continue. Sidebar.
Objection, Your Honor. Your Honor, objection, Your Honor. I apologize for this. This is irrelevant.
Until he asks a question, so do not object until he asks a question.
Right.
RBR, ask a question.
Well, I asked the question that
if he again.
Okay, here's the question. Are you aware of the fact that if you are ignorant of what defamation is and you commit defamation, you can't say I didn't know what stopping at the red light, I didn't know that that was a law. So therefore, I just rammed through the law and killed everybody in the intersection. Do you realize that you would still be liable even if you didn't know that you were supposed to go into the bank with a machine gun and a ski mask and ransom notes and rob that bank? If you didn't know.
Objection to the line of question. This is relevance.
RBR, please do a succinct question. In the court of law, you're not allowed to make plural questions. So you're not allowed to ask, hey, what's your favorite color and what's your favorite season? Because that would
I didn't know I asked something so stupid. What I asked him was, what I asked the question, I'll ask it again, and you already answered the question twice. Succinctly, did you know you were defaming me when you were defaming me? His answer was no. Twice. Right.
Then
now, is he liable if he defames me, Your Honor, and doesn't know it because he's stupid and he dropped out of school in the 3rd grade?
That is illegal.
Objection, Your Honor. Name calling.
Well, where are we at? Where are we at? You're saying that's a legal question. Well, where the fuck are we at if we're not in a court?
Objection, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. This man is going on a rant, and the things he's saying is not relevant to the case.
Because the case is legal.
RBR, move on with your line of questioning.
Okay.
Question.
Okay. So I hope the jury heard him say no twice, that he didn't know what the law was. Yes. So therefore he couldn't break a law. Okay, here we go. Could you break a law that you didn't know was a law?
So, okay, I'm going to stop you. RBR, stop asking legal questions.
Stop winning the argument. RBR, stop winning the argument because you're kidding.
He is not a legal expert. If you were an attorney in a court of law asking somebody this, you would be kicked out of the courtroom. You would not be allowed to do this line of questioning, okay? This type of questioning is not allowed. You can't ask him about legal definitions. He's not a legal expert. He wasn't sworn in as an expert witness testifying about legal issues. He is the defendant. You have to ask him about facts in the case. And then the jury gets to determine about the facts in the case to determine whether or not he's liable. Please move on with your questions. Ask him questions about facts in the case. Like, for instance, his intent, whether or not it was published. Prove that you haven't even proved that he published anything. You haven't even shown that he said anything yet. So maybe get to that. Lord Jesus.
The judge who's acting as your lawyer, which it's malpractice in a court of law to say that's a legal question. So in a court of law, hold on, excuse me.
Okay, this is my courtroom. Ask your next question. Do not teach me the law. If I'm wrong, my show is messed up, and that's bad for me, okay?
Excuse me, Your Honor.
You need to ask your next question.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Excuse me, Your Honor. Would it be wise for me to just cross-examine him, because I don't think we're going to get to the point of discussion?
No, he gets his opportunity just like everybody else, and then you get your opportunity. That's
no problem, Your Honor. Thank you. Okay.
But I want I would like the jury to make a note that she's saying that I can't ask a legal question.
You get to tell the jury to make notes during your closing arguments. You get to tell the jury to make whatever notes you want them to make during your closing arguments. Right now, you get to ask Linwood questions about facts, not about legal conclusions, about facts. Please continue to ask Linwood about the facts. Maybe this is a hint, maybe start by showing that he said anything against you, because thus far you haven't even shown he has said anything.
All right, let me get my 3rd grade. Let me remember my 3rd grade. I can't hear her. Is she muted? She's so fucking stupid. She's dumb. Okay. Can I get back in the show?
Objection, Your Honor. This man has no respect for this courtroom.
Okay, well that's irrelevant. Irrelevance.
Move on with your questions.
Okay, now let's move on to my questions. Now, did you say that the Nazis were going to kill niggas like me so coons like you can get a seat at the table? Yes or no? Is that what you facts? Is that a fact? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Do you remember saying that there was a reason why you said it 5 minutes ago, but do you recall you said, well, the reason I said what I said was because you defamed Donald Trump, who is God or Jesus or something, I guess to you.
Objection, Your Honor, to the line of questioning.
Is it a fact? Is it a fact that you
questioning is
said
not
I
relevant.
defamed Donald Trump? Is that a fact? Yes or no?
I said in my opening statement, plaintiff,
Mm-hmm.
that you have indeed used your platform
Okay.
to say on a number of occasions that President Trump killed 8 million people with the coronavirus. You
Yes.
insinuated that the former president of this republic
Yes.
actually conspired to commit an international war crime against citizens of the planet, particularly in what is referred to as the United States.
Okay. The whole planet is the United States. Thank you. Now,
No. I didn't say that, sir. Sir, I did not say that.
The
I said,
planet of the United States.
Your Honor,
Neither
Your Honor, if
one
I'm
of
allowed
you
to repeat it.
argued, I hear you.
Yes,
He's
ma'am.
not allowed, his statement was wrong. Your response was wrong. Neither of you should argue. He should be asking questions. You should be answering.
Your Honor,
Ignore
Your Honor, I'm very sorry.
jury.
Okay, let
You
me
should take
continue.
into consideration every time they act out of order. You
Right.
should
Well,
take that into consideration.
I take the consideration that the jury is just.
You're
dumb
acting
as-
out of order by talking right now instead of asking a question. Ask a
Okay,
question.
here's the question. Now, legally, not legally, but is it your opinion, Linwood, that during times of war, if you commit a crime against the country that you belong to, it would be a war crime? Do you believe that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you explain the war that we were in 2017 or 2018 or 2020, in which the coronavirus was unleashed to kill everybody and get Mexico to build the wall and to get rid of the Mexicans and the blacks and the Arabs and the gays and the women and the woke, everybody who was woke? Can you tell me what war the U.S. was engaged in that I accused Trump of war crimes? Could you tell me what war we were in?
There was no war that the United States was involved in or engaged in.
Okay, now would it be possible? I'm sorry. Would it be possible to commit a war crime when the United States wasn't at war?
Yes, it would be.
Please make a note. They have to take notes, Your Honor. Could they please take
They
notes?
get to come to their decision. If they think that's a stupid answer, that's for them to decide, not for you to talk.
To take notes.
Wait a minute.
Because they're just as dumb as he is, Your Honor.
Objection, Your Honor. Name calling and relevance.
Okay, I'll address that. I'm asking you a question. What is your name? What is your name, Linwood?
You just said my name, sir.
Okay. Would you consider that name calling if I called you by your name?
That's not name calling.
So, okay, jury, please write that down, jury. Calling him by his name is not name calling, but calling him dumb and stupid is.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance to the questions.
RBR.
The relevance is calling you by your name would be name calling.
If I can exhibit to the court, Your Honor, the actual definition of name calling.
Linwood, this is not your time to testify. I
No
know it's
problem.
frustrating. RBR is breaking the rules, but it doesn't help if you break the rules too. RBR, this is your time to ask questions. Anything that you want to say, like a statement, anything that you want the jury to note, that would be, go ahead, take 5 minutes, grab a pen, grab some paper, write down the to take note of before closing arguments. And then on your closing arguments, you get to say whatever you want for as long as you want. But right now, you get to ask Linwood questions.
Right. So I didn't ask you. I'm sorry. Did I ask you the question that if I called you Linwood, that would be calling you by your name? Did I ask you that?
You asked me in that context of you're calling me by my name. Name
Thank you.
calling, however,
But your
is
answer.
using insulting and demeaning language as a way
Oh,
to
okay.
get a person to be angry or aggressive toward you.
Okay. So to understand what you just said, if I call you by your name and it doesn't offend you, then it's not name calling. But if I tell you you can't have a war crime if there's no war, I can't say you're stupid because you can't have a war crime if there's no war. So that would be name calling. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying, sir.
Well, please clarify what you mean.
What I mean when you accuse the president of committing a war crime, aka
When there's
genocide,
no war, when there's no war,
when there's no war, is also defaming the
it wouldn't be
president.
a war. Okay, here's the question. Here's the question one more time. He's not understanding the question, Your Honor. Can you commit a war crime when the country's not at war?
Asked and answered. Please move on.
Then how is it not a war crime, though? He's calling it a war crime.
Relevance.
Asked and answered, please move on.
Relevance is you can't have a war crime when there's no war.
Asked
That's
and
the
answered,
relevance.
please move on. Stop testifying. Ask your next question.
That's not testifying. That would be a question. Okay.
Ask your next question.
Next question. Now, if in fact you called me, you had a reason for defaming me and saying that I should be eliminated, exterminated because I finished the 3rd grade, would the reason that you defamed me be a defense or an excuse for defaming me? Whatever the reason was, because I was 4 million years more advanced than you. Do you believe that any reason that I've done something to hurt the Nazi party, is that an excuse for you to defame me and my character and my race and my country and all of humanity?
Objection, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. Relevance to the case.
You can't do that. If I ask a question, Laura's going to say ask a question, and then he's going to say the relevance.
He is absolutely allowed to ask you how a question is relevant. RBR, how is this relevant to showing that Linwood defamed you?
Okay, because if he defamed me because he dropped out of school in the 3rd grade and doesn't know you can't have a war crime without a war.
Objection, Your Honor. How is this relevant?
Let him explain why. Let him try to explain why he thinks it's relevant, and then I get to decide. Go ahead, RBR. Explain why it's relevant.
Okay. So the reason that you would have to have a war before you could commit a war crime, because if
how
you do
relevant?
It's relevant because it's not true. And in a court of law, lying is called perjury. Now, ignorance is no defense. You can't say I'm not lying, I'm just dumb.
How is it relevant to the fact that he committed defamation?
Because he's saying the reason I committed defamation is because I'm stupid. Now he's saying if I call him stupid, I'm name calling him. Well, how would you characterize somebody who accuses someone?
Are you saying it was motive to defame you? Are you saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Ignorance can't be a motive. You can't say I defamed you because I'm stupid, and then say I'm calling you names when I call you stupid.
Okay, so Linwood, he's saying that he's establishing motive right now for your defamation.
Your Honor, how so?
Okay, I'm going to allow him to continue his questioning. Go ahead, RBR.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. So, if you are saying that because I finished the 3rd grade and went on to the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, you're saying if you didn't know that you defamed me because you dropped out of school in the 3rd grade, is that your argument? Is that your defense for defaming me?
Objection, irrelevance.
We already established the relevance is motive. Please answer the question.
Well, I have to first understand the question that he made because he made statements while he was asking questions.
Can you reframe it? And RBR, make sure that when you're asking a question, you do not include facts not formally laid out. So you can't say that he didn't graduate the 3rd grade unless you prove that he actually didn't graduate.
Well, isn't he proving that? Isn't he proving it every time he opens his mouth?
Continue with your questions, please. Continue.
Okay. If you didn't know why you defamed me, is that a valid reason to defame me?
No.
Thank you. Moving on. Now, you also said that I wanted to kill white people. Now, if in fact my 2 things on my program, my show is based on 2 things.
You just said a fact, not an evidence. Would you?
Okay.
Would you
I'm sorry. I apologize, Your Honor. I apologize. Did you say that I wanted to kill white people?
In the context of your statements about white people?
Yes.
As a theory of what I was listening to? Yes.
Okay. Now, the premise of my show, the basis of my show is twofold, right? I don't think as Black people, we should put people in charge of
ask questions. You don't.
I'm not testifying. I'm not testifying. I'm telling you, he said it on my. He said his response was no. His question, he answered. So you're saying I can't respond to his answer?
Yes, I'm saying you cannot respond to his answer. I'm saying you have to continue with your line of questioning, and then you
I have to put it in the form of question. Okay.
During closing arguments.
Okay. No, that's fine. Okay. So you said that you had a valid. It's not valid for you to say that you wanted to kill white people because you didn't know you were defaming me, and then you said that because of the things I said on my show, you came to the conclusion that I wanted to kill white people. The next question is, what is the theme of my show? What is the premise, the basis, my tagline? Are you familiar with what the premise of my show is? And can you please tell the jury what the premise of my show is, what the purpose of my show is? Take notes.
Are you talking about the headline of your shows?
Yes, the tagline is after the headline, Real Brother Radio Network. There's a line under that says the alternative to conservative. Okay,
yes,
what does that mean? Does that mean kill white people, in your opinion?
That does not mean killing white people, but if your content is consistently lumping mostly white persons that vote Republican or conservative as being
or
part of the Nazi party or being responsible, or they're going to kill everybody on the planet who is non-white, I would come to that conclusion based on the fact that you say this every day on your show, sir.
Yes. Now, if I say that every day on my show, that I don't want Nazis in charge of the government, and I don't want Nazis to beat us out of $90 billion over the next 10 years that they would owe us, would that kill white people if they weren't in power so they could kill us?
Sir, you don't put it in those contexts.
Please answer the question, Your Honor. Would he answer the question, yes or no?
He gets to answer it how he wants to answer it.
Okay, he's talking about context. Okay, so he asked me about can I respond to him saying he didn't understand the context of why I wouldn't want a bunch of racists who want to kill us to be in power?
The context,
understand the context, man.
The way that you formed the question was in the context of going outside of the guidelines of my theory.
It's third grade education
and observation of your thoughts, speech, and actions on your show, sir. Referencing,
I give you that. I give you that. If I don't support Donald Trump, then a lot of white people will die. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying, Linwood? If I don't support Vladimir Putin becoming the president of the United States, you're saying white people will die.
That's not what I said, sir.
I'm just asking you. The question was, again, if I get my way and Nazis are not in charge of the federal government, would it kill off the white? Would the white race go extinct if Hitler wasn't president? I'm just asking. The answer should be yes or no.
I
Is
do not
are my
understand the
actions
line of
gonna kill white
questioning,
people?
sir.
I'm sorry.
I do not understand your line of questioning, sir.
Okay. The tag you said that the tagline of the New York Times, it's all the news fit to print. The Real Brother Radio Network is the alternative to conservative. If I oppose the conservatives, would that kill off the Nazi race, the Aryan race? Yes or no? It's not a hard question for him to answer. Lauren, can I treat him as a hostile witness, Your Honor?
You already are.
Not really. The truth shouldn't be hostile to him, but it's breaking his fucking heart. The truth is breaking his heart. But could you answer the question, please?
Please.
Would it kill white people if Joe Biden was the president or Barack Obama? Okay, let's do this. If Barack Obama, just hypothetical, if Barack Obama was president of the United States, would 8 million white people die, and Asians and Muslims? And
No.
would Mexico build the wall if Obama was president?
No.
Would he kick out all the Mexicans, ban the Muslims, and unleash the most deadly virus known to mankind that killed 8 million people worldwide?
I would not know.
Well, he was president for 8 years. Did it happen?
I wouldn't know.
You don't know whether or not Mexico built a wall when Obama was the president. You don't know whether or not Obama faced
I wouldn't know.
AIDS, Zika virus, Ebola virus, SARS. You
I
don't
wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know if there were pandemics.
Okay, asked and
when Obama
answered.
was
Please
president.
move on
Okay.
here. He says he
I
doesn't
wouldn't
know.
know.
He didn't know. Okay. Did you know that Obama was president?
Yes.
Okay. Well, is there a wall on the southern border that stretches through the ocean to keep the Mexicans from coming across that Mexico paid for? Is there a wall that Mexico
There
paid
is a wall on our U.S. border in which the taxpayers of this country paid for.
So Mexico didn't pay for the wall?
No, Mexico refused to pay for the wall. They didn't even entertain the whole talking point.
Okay. And so when the Black Genius was president, he didn't kill 8 million people and kick the Mexicans out and the Muslims and everybody else who wasn't Nazi. So I want to argue that my channel and blacks being in power wouldn't kill white people. Now, if what I'm doing hasn't killed one white Nazi, would you be fair to say that I want to kill white people? And black people have never had white slaves. We never put Jews in the oven. Black people have never had white slaves, and we never put the Jew. We are so loving, we never put the Jews in the oven. And by the way, I never ate an Indian. So who's the real savage? 6 foot tall on the average. Got the
Objection, Your Honor. How is this line of questioning relevant?
Yeah, thank you. No, it's irrelevant. This objection sustained. RBR, this line of questioning is wholly irrelevant.
No, it's not. He accused me of wanting to kill white people. Is that relevant to defamation? Because that's defamation.
Yeah,
It's no different to you basically saying on your show on a regular basis with persons who may either disagree with your line of statement.
Right. Okay.
Or saying that Donald Trump
as a judge, I wouldn't actually do this. But RBR,
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
RBR, do you want to maybe, we're now an hour into this, would you like to maybe show any evidence that Linwood said anything?
No, he admitted to saying it. See, come on, Lauren.
So
testimony is legal as evidence. Testimony is evidence. So if he testifies to it, I don't have to show evidence.
So you're saying, so
you didn't testify to anything. You only testify what you said.
You said, these were your words. If in fact I wanted to kill black people, wanted to kill white people, I said, when Obama was president, he was black, and how many white people did he kill? Did Mexico kick the Mexicans out? Did he separate the families? Did he grab somebody by the pussy? No.
Right. I'm not seeing how this line of questioning has to do with the statement that the statement that you're trying to prove that Linwood said. So you already proved Linwood said. Well, okay. Linwood already said that he said that you want to kill white people. This is the statement that you're trying to prove. And you're trying to show that that's defamatory. I don't see how you're questioning about Barack Obama.
Whether or not I have killed black people, and I've been doing this for 30 years. And so the point is,
the statement of the fact that you want to kill white people.
Well, it's relevant to the fact that I want to move to the moon because I haven't moved to the moon. So, and I'm 61 years old. So the relevance of I want to kill white people when I'm 61 years old and my policies haven't killed white people. But you goddamn Nazis killed 8 million Jews because you thought they were black. You dropped 2 atomic bombs.
This is not relevant to the case at hand.
It's relevant to killing white people. It's not relevant to the case, but it's relevant to whether or not the Democrats are trying to kill white people.
RBR, I think it's a stretch.
No, it's not. We want to kill white people, or you goddamn Nazis want to kill black people.
You know what, RBR, feel free to continue with your line of questioning, and I'll let the jury decide.
Okay. Well, no, he has to. He has to examine me. And I'm
okay. So are you done with your line of questioning?
Yes, I'm done. I'm done. I got enough points. Does someone keep
Linwood to ask his line of questioning now? Okay, Linwood, now, your turn.
Okay. Could I have one question before I ask you?
Okay. After Linwood starts asking questions.
No, it's pertinent to before he asks questions because he's gonna put me on trial. Please remind the jury again which one of us is on trial.
The defendant.
Irrelevant.
The relevance of which one of us is on trial?
Linwood, please begin your line of questioning.
Thank you, Your Honor. And before I get into my line of questions, I would like to once again apologize to the courtroom, as well as apologize to the jury for this.
He'd like to testify before he gets into the questions.
Ask your questions. If you want to apologize and do that stuff, you get to do that in closing arguments. Go ahead, ask your questions.
No problem.
Before you sentenced.
Okay. Mr. RBR, good evening, sir.
Well, you can call me real brother.
Have you ever sued someone for defamation before?
No. I usually just knock them out in the debate. You know what I'm saying? I like to debate. I think the First Amendment is very important. And you have a right to say that you hate me because I'm black, but don't say that I want to kill white people. So some white nut will take a shot at me. So if you don't like me because I'm black, say you don't like me because I'm black and I finished college and you didn't. Don't say I want to kill white people.
Mr. RBR. Mr. RBR.
Yes.
How would that be relevant to this case?
How would me being killed by white people be relevant? Well, I'd be dead and the fucking world would go to shit because I'm the only one who has any sense around this motherfucking camp. That would be the relevance of you not getting me killed by lying about me wanting to kill white people. White people are the dumbest race of people on earth. They want to kill you too. You're just too stupid to know it. Next question, go.
Mr. RBR.
Real brother. Tell this fool to call me real brother. The show airs at 10 p.m. Eastern time on the Real Brother RBR radio network, the alternative to conservative. Okay.
You try your best to refer to him as real brother just for decorum.
Mr. Real Brother.
Not Mr. Real Brother. God. Who am I, Mr. Rogers and shit?
Mr. Real Brother.
Go ahead. Don't worry about it.
Mr. Real Brother. You've accused former President Donald Trump of killing 8 million people with the coronavirus. Could President Trump sue you for defaming him?
No, because to prove defamation, one, you have to prove it was true. The statement was not true. And two, you would have to prove that the statement, it's called malice, that the statement is going to hurt his standing in the Nazi party. What the Nazi party does is kill people. Now, he's trying to get this record.
Wait a minute.
Just to pause you, actually, damages is causing damage. That's what damage is, and then malice is the level of intent.
No, so wrong. No, it's not the level of intent. It's whether or not. Okay, look at if Trump's a Nazi, right?
I'm not letting
Mr. Real Brother.
The legal explanation. I give the legal explanation. You give like the testimony and stuff. Okay. Continue with
Mr. Real Brother. Mr. Real Brother.
No. Let me answer the question. No.
You've already answered the question already. You've already answered.
You get to answer his questions when he asks them. Linwood, please answer your question, and then I'll bring him up.
So, Mr. RBR, if Mr. Trump were to sue you for defaming him of committing a war crime, would that also be saying something that's not true?
Okay. If he accused me of committing a war crime, it
No,
probably would
sir.
be true.
Sir, Mr. RB, Mr. Real Brother,
I'm not in the army.
Mr. Real Brother,
He would be the commander in chief.
Mr. Real Brother, you accused the former president of this republic of committing a war crime and killing 8 million people with a coronavirus. Will it be correct to say that that is defaming him without facts that Mr. Trump, who was the former president at the time, intended to kill 8 million people with this virus?
Okay. The answer is no, he didn't intend to kill 8 million people with the virus. He intended to kill everybody on earth who wasn't white and in the top 1%. Now, the reason that I would win the defamation case against him is because you can only commit a war crime at time of war. And as we established,
Mr. RBR,
okay,
tell me
the war. There was no
Mr. RBR, just to follow that statement up. So you said that this man tried to kill everyone on this planet who was not white. What evidence would you have to prove that the former president of this republic committed that crime while being the commander-in-chief of this country?
Okay. The bioweapons program is only authorized by the president of the United States. Who was the president of the United States in 2017 when the virus first was detected in Wuhan, China?
So
who was the president? No. Trump was the president.
Wait a minute, Mr. RBR. To follow up my question to you, can a president of the United States go to another country to relinquish a biometric weapon?
Absolutely. And
how?
The point.
How?
The president. Because okay, I could prove this too, Lauren, if you want me to. He's going to cry, but the only person authorized to start the bioweapons program was starting in 1942. Okay, it went up until 2008. In 2008, the president in 2008, I won't mention his name. I'll just say he was a black genius. He stopped the program. How come? Because the diseases were escaping and they used to go from animal to animal. Well, the purpose of a bioweapons program is to get the disease to where if you sneeze on somebody or breathe on somebody, it could go from human to human and wipe out all the black people and the Asian people and the Mexican people and the poor people and the people who can't afford the vaccine, et cetera.
Mr. RBR.
So the only person that authorized those
RBR. This is in relation to defamation. Can President Trump sue you with facts that he did not intend to kill 8 million people with a virus?
Okay. Can he sue me for?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The answer is yes. Would he win? Fuck no.
Okay, wait a minute. RBR, hold on, Mr. RBR. Now, how would he not win when he has factual evidence that you have said this on your show on a regular basis that he fucked up? Excuse me, to use the terms of the language in the courtroom, I have to use profanity. You said, sir, that he fucked around and gonna kill us, those who are not white, with the coronavirus and shit. These are your words. So, how are you not different from me that you're accusing of defaming you?
Your Honor, I would ask for Henry to put up the definition of defamation, if he could, please. So this fucking idiot.
You get to do that, and your closing argument right now, you get to answer questions.
Okay, well, the motherfucker. Here's the thing about the defamation. To prove defamation, you have to prove the statement is false. You have to prove the statement will hurt you in the Republican Party. Now, killing everybody on Earth.
Sir, wait a minute. To follow that question up.
I also want to pause you. You just like RBR, you're not allowed to ask him legal-based questions. Ask him
Okay, no problem. I wanted to follow up that question because I did not want to lose track of what I am asking.
Okay, go ahead.
Did he get my answer? My answer was he can sue me, but he won't win. Why? To prove defamation, he would have to prove that the statement wasn't true, that he wasn't the president. The president is the only one, not Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci works for Donald Trump. Dr. Fauci wasn't the president. He was overseeing the experiments, but he wasn't the president. The president authorized the experiments. Fauci didn't want to do it, but Trump wanted to kill everybody on earth who wasn't white, who wasn't in the top 1%, because that's how he gets votes. And plus, if he kills all the Democrats, he wins without opposition. So he authorized if he authorized the experiments that led to the coronavirus, how the fuck is he not responsible? Now, it wasn't a war crime because we weren't at war, but if the president authorized the bioweapons program to resume, and the bioweapons program resulted in 8 million people dying until we got his ass out of office and got the real brothers vice president in there, how would he prove that I'm defaming him by telling something that's truthful and factual? How would that defame someone?
Well, I'm asking you the questions. You're not asking me any questions.
I asked the question. It can't be a war.
Okay, once again, RBR, you had your time to ask questions. It is currently Linwood's time to ask questions. Linwood, go on with your next question.
My next question is, my question into this, it's not relevant to the case. The question I wanted to follow up with his answer is, are you saying that President Donald Trump actually called for this biological weapon to be released onto the public, even if he knew the dangers of this?
That it would kill all the black people? You damn right. Now, when I answer the question...
Wait a minute.
Hold on. Can I answer the question? What the fuck? Can I answer the question?
Technically, he's allowed to interrupt you once he feels like he hasn't.
Like once he feels like he's going down for the third time.
I want to go further. I want to go further with this, sir.
Don't ask me no question if I can't.
You can't ask questions. You had your time to ask questions. However, I will give you 5 minutes to ask him questions after this, because it seems like you have more questions for him.
I object. I'm not talking about.
You didn't ask the question yet, so you can't even object yet. So go ahead.
No, I'm objecting because he asked me 3 questions, and then when I answered the question, he said these were his exact words. Court report.
We're not doing this. Linwood, ask a question.
Okay, I'm going to move on from that because I didn't get a correct answer to that question.
We shouldn't even ask legal questions or questions that call for speculation anyway. We really want to stay on point about the issue at hand and whether or not you defamed him or not. Okay?
Okay, no problem. I'm actually trying to do that, Your Honor.
Next line of questioning.
Mr. RBR, could content creators be sued by government officials for defamation if they...
So once again, this is a legal-based question. You're asking him like a legal issue. Can you ask him about the facts of the case?
Let me track that question.
Okay.
If I defamed you, what damages have you suffered from my defamation?
Well, the defamation under the hate crimes law, under the First Amendment, the Supreme Court has ruled that if you yell fire in a crowded theater, people will stampede each other and kill each other. Why? Because they think it's a fire, and so they're running out of the building. So under the First Amendment, yes, you have the right to free speech, but you don't have the right to say, hang Mike Pence, no Nancy Pelosi, because a bunch of fucking racists will go down there and bust her husband's head in the head with a hammer. So you can't use hate speech as an excuse for free speech. So defamation is there to protect my rights, not your right to be damn stupid and think that if I offend Hitler, you can't offend Hitler. Why? He's trying to kill everybody on earth who's not white and not in the top 1%. That's the definition of defamation. If it's not true, it's defamation. The damages is if you get somebody killed, then the damages is that you get somebody killed. And I don't want to die just to please you because you're too fucking stupid to go to college and get your goddamn degree.
Okay, Mr. RBR. The question I posed seconds ago.
Yes.
What damages have you currently suffered
I told
from
you.
my alleged defamation of you? What financial damages have you suffered? What business interactions you've suffered because of this defamation?
Okay. I have a show, and my show is dedicated to keeping the Nazis out of power who want to kill us. You, by saying I want to kill white people, it hurts me because every person in this chat room is in this chat room to put me on trial for trying to keep the Nazis out of power and getting black content creators the $90 billion that Google will owe us over the next 10 years. $90 billion is a lot of money. It would hurt the black race to not have the $90 billion. If the Nazis get in power and kill everybody in the black race, it would hurt them. Why? They would be dead. So to argue, well, just if we kill the black race and we don't pay you the money we owe you, how could that hurt you? Well, are you that fucking stupid?
Mr. RBR, back to the question at hand.
Are you going to ask the question 10 times? Ask and answer.
Ask and answer, move on.
All right. Oh, my goodness. So will it be correct to say, RBR, that any content creator that has a disagreement of sorts with another content creator, they can use defamation as a reason to sue based on disagreements about issues or ideas of
you have a right to
how to go about solve issues? Yes.
Okay. Can I answer the question without him saying it has no relevance to the case? Can I answer the question, Lauren?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you disagree with my right to exist because I'm black, that would be defamation. That would hurt me. Why? Because I need to exist to stop you motherfuckers from killing everybody on earth. So yes, it would hurt me, and it has hurt me because, like I said, if that motherfucker gets reelected, we can forget it. We can hang it up. And they know that. These Nazis in the chat room, they know that. So yes, it would hurt society if everybody on earth who wasn't white was killed. Absolutely.
So, Mr. RBR, how would this personally affect you? Personally,
how would being murdered personally affect me? Well, ask Trayvon Martin how being murdered personally affected him.
No, that's not my question, sir.
Your question was how would putting Nazis in power?
My question was, sir, how will you being defamed or me supposedly defaming you actually hurt your business?
Okay.
How did it hurt you financially?
Okay. Hold on. Can I answer the question, Lauren?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if the Nazis kill me, because you said I wanted to kill white people, then it would hurt my business because I'm a sole proprietor, and killing me would probably hurt my business.
And if I may ask, who is going to murder you?
George Zimmerman could do it. Who else? Dylan Roof. Donald Trump. He can give me the coronavirus. He can unleash that. He can get, the cops, the police that killed 80,000 black people since 1980. Any Nazi, any racist could kill me.
To stay off topic, to go off topic for a moment, Your Honor.
Irrelevance, Your Honor.
Just ask your question, and then he could object to whether or not it's relevant, and then you could explain if it is relevant. Go ahead, ask your question.
If I can, go off topic for a moment, ask a question.
Going off topic, just ask your question, and then he can object if it's irrelevant. He can object.
So, RBR, you really believe that white people are the dumbest race of people on the planet?
Absolutely.
So,
well, white people are the last race. All right. So the Africans were first, the Asians were second, and then white people came 4 million years after the original Africans. Now, when a baby's born, is the baby smarter than the parents? Now, when somebody graduates from law school, are they as smart as F. Lee Bailey? or a seasoned lawyer? No. The younger you are, the less apt to be capable to run the president. The next in line to run Korea is Kim Jong-un's 9-year-old daughter. Do you really think she's more capable of running a Marxist dictatorship than her father? No. Obviously, she's too young. Obviously, you guys are too young because you didn't get out of the 3rd grade. So yes, the race that came last is the race that would be the least capable of running the society. That's science. The
So,
baby,
Mr. RBR,
the parents
so,
do.
so Mr. RBR, would it be correct for me to say that that is a form of misinformation?
No, you think the baby's more capable of running the household than the parents?
No, the disinformation or misinformation that
I'm
white
not
people are
saying that.
led.
I'm not saying that. If you think that it's misinformation that the baby can't run the household, here, take baby, go take the car and go get some groceries. No, the baby would have to grow up before it could take over the household.
No,
The white
I'm
race-
talking
the
about.
white race is 4 million years behind.
You don't get to argue, Linwood. You just get to
I'm
ask
sorry.
questions.
I'm sorry, because I want to continue asking him questions, but he keeps long
But he
rambling.
keeps
Can
answering
move on to the
questions.
next question.
He wants to ask me questions.
So if he says something that you think is false, you can prove him wrong. You could.
Well, I actually wanted to follow his answers. I wanted to follow up, Your Honor, on his answer to follow up with another question.
Okay, do that.
That's what I was trying to do.
Go ask your next question then.
Yes. My next question to you, Mr. RBR, is that since you believe that white people are not superior, what white persons do you know that are inferior?
The question is so fucking dumb and stupid. Can I answer it?
You have to.
Okay. Saying that white people aren't superior doesn't mean that white people are as dumb as the doorknob. I said that the baby, I'm not saying the baby's inferior. I'm just saying that the baby wouldn't be capable of running the government because it's a baby. Now, if you don't accept that, just say I don't accept that. I think Kim Jong-il's 9-year-old daughter would run the Marxist dictatorship of North Korea very, very well. Her and Donald Trump could have a love affair. But I don't think it would be best for society if the children took over society. I think they're too young. The white race is too young. It's a neophyte race. It's only 50,000 years old. They came to Africa 750 years ago. So 49,000 of the years of existence of white people was spent in caves in the Caucasus Mountains. You can't come out of the caves in the Caucasus Mountains and run society. You're just too young. I'm not saying they're inferior. We don't think of our children as inferior, but we don't give them the car keys and say, go pick up a loaf of bread at the store. They're kids. White people are kids. You can see how damn dumb they are. They don't even know law. We can't use legal arguments in a courtroom during a trial. Everything that we're doing is a legal argument. And she doesn't know that? No, she doesn't know that because she's 2 days out of law school. She's 2 days out of passing the bar. So of course she wouldn't know that. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It just means that she's ignorant. And ignorance is no excuse. It's not a defense. You can't say I'm too stupid to know that all arguments in a courtroom are legal.
Okay.
So are you assuming, Mr. RBR, that the Honorable Lauren DeLaguna
This is not, we're not going to get into the credibility of the judge. We want to remain on topic. You have 4 elements, you have 1 case. You should be focusing on those 4 elements for your 1 case. That's all you should be talking about. We shouldn't be talking about whether Lauren DeLaguna is competent. We shouldn't be talking about anything but your statement that you said about RBR wanting to kill white people and whether or not that was defamation. That is all we are talking about. Continue with your line of questioning.
It's kind of frustrating sometimes to ask the plaintiff a question when
he's going to answer it. He uses intelligence to answer all the questions, and I'm supposed to.
That's fine. I understand that it could be difficult. Lawyers have to deal with this too. You get plaintiffs who don't give you the answers that you expect. what you can do is continue with your questioning, or you could provide evidence showing that their answers don't quite make sense, but you should also just rely on the jury to see what you see. Okay, continue.
No problem. Thank you. So RBR,
Yeah,
we say you are a journalist, correct?
I am a journalist. Yes.
In journalism school, which you went to the prestigious Washington University,
No,
correct?
it's University of Washington. University of
University of
Washington.
Washington. Thank you.
That's a different university. Okay, go
In
Huskies.
journalism school, do they teach you to actually cover the facts or to interject your opinions and views into things?
We do both. Now, as a journalist, we are taught the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, and why. Those would be the facts. Who, me, the real brother. What, borderline genius. When, now. Where, in Lauren's bullshit kangaroo ass court. Why? Because I'm 10 years ahead of these fucking idiots and they hate me.
Objection. Relevance to the case. Relevance to the case. Consistent insulting the
you don't really get to answer your own question. So, like, you got to object to his questions earlier in terms of relevance.
I apologize, Your Honor, but I mean, my goodness, he's continuously insulting the court as well as insulting you.
The jury will see that.
I mean, I want to stay on the case.
I understand. Okay.
Continue with your line of questioning, Linwood. Ask him your next question.
All right. Oh, goodness grief. I apologize to the court for this discourse.
No worries.
So, Mr. RBR, in journalism school, they teach you to gather the facts and report the facts to the public.
Okay.
What makes it different? What makes you different from respectable journalists such as Walter Cronkite?
Well, I'm black. That's one thing. But here's the difference. Walter Cronkite was irrelevant to this case. But I will answer your question. The question is, what's the difference between somebody that went to journalism school and has 30 years of journalism experience and somebody who dropped out of college after 2 semesters and doesn't realize you can't commit a war crime when there's no war? Well, the difference is one person finished college, got his degree, worked in the business for 30 years, and the other stupid idiot didn't. That would be the difference.
So you mean to tell me? You tell me that Mr. Cronkite is not a credible journalist, and you are?
Well, I would say that Mr. Cronkite is not a black journalist, and I am.
So, if I can gain knowledge and understanding, can you tell me the difference between a black journalist and a white journalist doing the same job, and can you show or demonstrate to the jury one of each?
Oh, that's pretty good. I actually like that question. That was pretty good. You've been learning. All right. Well, the difference between Tucker Carlson and me is because Tucker Carlson is a Marxist. So he believes 1% white rule based on race and class. I am an Obamacrat. I believe in a democracy. The person who has the most experience, the most education, the most knowledge, and the most character. He ain't trying to kill everybody on earth who's not white and get Mexico to pay for some wall. I think that's the person who should be in charge of the government. I also believe that in a democracy, if the majority of the people in the country want to choose a leader that's not going to kill the minorities and the Mexicans and the blacks and the gays and take all the black history out of the schools and shit and build a big wall and keep the $850 billion that the Mexicans pump into the economy. I think that people that only care about the top richest 1% of people on earth probably should not be in government. White journalists don't give a fuck. Why? Because they're white. So they're too stupid to realize that in Marxism, it's not just race. It is race, but it's also class. And if 1% of white people have 90% of the wealth in the white community, it leaves 99% of the white people out. I don't think 1% of the population should have any more than 1% of the resources. What white people are doing, what these Nazis are doing, is if they get rid of us, then Trump and Putin the money's gonna trickle down to them. Ronald Reagan said that. It's called trickle down economics. It means give all your money to the top richest 1%, and in 5 million years, it'll trickle down to you. They're lying to these white people just as much as they're lying to us. That's the difference. I and for democracy. Putin and them are Marxists, therefore for 1% white rule based on race and class.
So to follow up that question, Mr. RBR, Vladimir Putin is the president of the nation of Russia. What does Vladimir Putin have to do with the United States and former President Donald Trump?
Well, okay, that's a good question. That's a good question too. Well, Paul Manafort was in prison. He was Trump's campaign manager. He received a $650 million transfer from Moscow. He received $17 million. He paid more in taxes in China than he does in the United States. 17 million, 650 million. Putin financed Trump's campaign, Bernie's campaign, Jill Stein's campaign. That's that table, that picture that you saw at the table that I showed on my show that showed Michael Flynn, Jill Stein, Vladimir Putin at the table, and there was no room for you and Conscious Moron at that table. And so what I'm saying is, why is a communist country interfering in American election? 17 agencies said they interfered with the U.S. election. 2 days ago, the Russian government put out a statement that only 1% of their agents on YouTube are detected. They got 2,000 accounts on YouTube. And these YouTube, they're not here to help us. They're here to spread anti-vaxxer information, misinformation, and convince you and Yvette Carnell and all the other stupid ass idiots that if we re-elect Trump, he'll give us reparations. And Trump has no interest in reparations. He wants to give us coronavirus cupcakes.
So back to defamation.
In power.
So back to defamation. You made some statements about Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont receiving $300 million.
Let's stay on to your
defamation. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. That's what I'm doing now.
Right. Lauren, come on. Don't be too hard on him.
So, Senator Bernie Sanders, you said received 300.
Talk about Bernie Sanders, idiot. He's a communist. He's been a communist.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your sentence.
The question I'm asking on the issue of defamation, Bernie, you've mentioned that Bernie Sanders received $300 million from the Russian government. Could Bernie Sanders sue you for defamation or defaming him in saying that he got $300 million that he didn't receive?
No, because he would have to prove it wasn't true. How much money did Bernie Sanders, Henry, how much money did Bernie Sanders raise for the 2016 campaign to stop Hillary from becoming president?
You don't get to ask questions.
Okay, Bernie came up with 300.
If you want to bring any evidence that is relevant to this at your closing arguments, that is fine. However, we are getting into extremely tangential territory. We should be proving intent. Did you intend with malice? Because we've already established RBR is a public figure. Did you intend to publish it? Was it false? Were there damages? Was it published?
I think he's doing a good job of proving that. Now, go ahead. Next question. He's so dumb. He's stupid. Ask me. The publishing part. We established that he published it because he admitted to it. All right,
Mr. RBR. I didn't publish anything because I have no publications to put it.
You'll get to testify. You'll get to testify at the end, right? During your closing argument. And now you get to ask him questions. Continue with your questions.
So, Mr. RBR, how did I publish this defamation?
Well, for the purposes of defamation, publishing means that it went out over the air and everybody heard it. Also, it means that you admitted to saying it. That would be publishing. I was publishing at the time, and you were on my truth panel lying. Is it true? No. I'm not trying to kill white people. I'm trying to keep them from killing everybody on earth who's not white.
So
I'm not defaming Bernie Sanders. Okay, Bernie Sanders had a college, and he sold the college to the Russians for $10 million, the land. And then after they got the $10 million, they went bankrupt. And then shortly after that, he raised $350 billion. That's a fact. Now, where did Bernie Sanders have his honeymoon? In Russia. He had a honeymoon in Russia. He sold him some land. His partner, his business partner, was the partner of Michael Flynn, who got $650 million from Russia. And that's why he was in jail. Trump pardoned him. Trump pardoned Flynn. Flynn is in that picture sitting with Putin. So they can sue me all they want. The Dominion sued him. It's true.
So Mr. RBR, I published that I defamed you.
You're not understanding.
How did I put that out to the public that I defamed you?
Okay, you're not allowed to testify. What's your question?
And that was a question, ma'am. I was aiming that question. Like, how he said that I published the defamation of him wanting to kill white people to the public. How so?
How did you publish it?
How so?
Well, the language didn't say you did it because they don't know who you are. When they write these laws, they don't know that you're that stupid. No, it says if the statement was published. Now, what are we doing right now? Publishing, because there's other people here but us. Okay. So when you said it, was there any other people there besides me and you? Of course there was. I average 600 views per show. So there were plenty of people there. That's what publishing means. Not that you published it because you're too dumb to publish it, but I did. And you said it, and it was published by me. So everybody heard it. So that's what makes it qualify as published, because everybody heard it. And you confessed to it.
I only confess to theory, man.
Don't argue.
So, sir, before I go into closing, before I rest my case here.
Right. Horrible case. Ain't scored no points. Go ahead.
Continue, Linwood.
As a journalist,
score 1 point, though.
As a journalist, as you say you are, is it the responsibility of the journalist to report the facts and not interject his opinion?
Okay, as the managing editor, yes, it's okay for me. Now, what I have to do when I post my opinion, I put on the top of the page in the left-hand corner, opinion. Stupid motherfuckers who want to kill everybody on earth who's not white should not be in charge of the government. That's an opinion. But when I say you can't have a war crime unless you are at war, that's not an opinion. That's a fact. When I say 2 + 2 = 4, that's a fact. When I say the earth is round, that's a fact. When I say racists hate Obama because he's black, that would be a fact. Do you know the difference?
You don't get to ask him questions right now. It's his turn to ask you. Go ahead with your next question.
Withdrawn, Your Honor. All right. Next question.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to give you RBR 5 minutes starting now. It's 8:42 my time. You have 5 minutes to ask him questions.
Okay, good. Have we established? Do you think you've established that you don't know what defamation is?
Okay, that's not relevant. Next question.
Okay, it's a defamation case, but a question.
His legal knowledge is irrelevant. Next question.
So you're saying that asking him whether he knows what defamation is.
His legal knowledge is irrelevant. His knowledge.
It's not legal knowledge. It's opinion. So his opinion. So his recollection.
Yes.
So his recollection doesn't matter.
Whether or not he defames.
You see how stupid Lauren is, Pookie? Midtown.
Okay. Ask another question.
Okay. What's 2 + 2, Linwood?
Also irrelevant.
Is that irrelevant to 4?
Yeah.
Is 2 + 2 irrelevant to 4? Is that what you're saying?
2 + 2 is 4.
Okay. What
next
shape is the
This
earth?
is your closing statement.
No,
No,
it's not a closing statement. I'm questioning your stupid ass. Yeah, you dumb fuck, you stupid idiot. What shape is the earth?
Okay, I apologize. I didn't know we were going into it.
He didn't know what defamation was. He apologizes. Okay, great. Now, what's the shape of the earth?
You know what, RBR, next line of questioning. This line of questioning is
this line
irrelevant.
of questioning is exposing how fucking stupid he is. So please go to the next line of questioning.
Next line of
Question
questioning.
is, here's the question. Why is the judge telling me what questions I can ask? Whose case is it?
Because that's literally what judges do.
No, you're not the prosecutor. Excuse me. Is there a different? Okay.
You're excused. I'll give you a second to breathe. Try that. Try that with me. Okay. Now ask your next question.
Next question. Do you know the difference between a judge and a prosecutor?
Lord Jesus. These are legal questions. You are asking him about his legal knowledge. Next question.
Okay. Yes. To answer his question, yes, I do.
Okay.
Next question.
Do they perform the same function?
No, next question. Stop asking questions of his legal knowledge. That is not something
I won't.
that
Okay, I won't answer. I won't answer. I withdrawn. Where are we at, Linwood? Where are we at right now? Virtually. Where are we at virtually?
We are on.
Look around. Where are we at?
We're on Lauren's Order show doing a mock trial of defamation.
What's in the background? You see the background there? There's a door.
Yes, it's a courtroom. It's in a courtroom. We're in a courtroom, so.
Thank you. Now, is it possible that in a courtroom during a trial there might be some legal questions addressed, legal issues addressed? Is that possible, or are we the Price is Right, where you just have to guess the price of those books right there?
It's basically going to be on the facts of the case.
No, I said, would there be legal questions to determine the facts of the case?
Yes, there will be.
Okay. So why does he keep saying that legal questions are irrelevant in a legal proceeding?
Irrelevant, and also Linwood isn't making the decision. The judge is, and I'm the judge.
The judge can't decide that legal.
So yes, the judge has decided, like every single other judge in the United States, that you're not allowed to do this line of questioning. Yes, me and every other judge in the United States will also come to this flipping conclusion, even though I'm not an attorney. Okay. So RBR, next line of questioning, make it pertain to the facts of the case, not to whether or not he knows about defamation or whether or not he is a lawyer or has a legal expertise. His knowledge of the law is completely irrelevant. Whether or not he said something and it was factually untrue, like said something to an audience other than you, was factually untrue, said it with malice, and I'm blanking, but you get the point. You have 4 things that you need to prove, RBR. Get to those points.
Well, I think I am getting to the points, but I think you guys are so fucking dumb. Now, here's the question. Are you familiar with the phrase argument, or what an argument is? It's not legal. I didn't put the word legal in front of it.
Yes, I am.
Are you familiar with the argument? Okay. Now, if I make an argument, do you have a right to say it's not relevant because I don't understand?
These are legal questions. My goodness. Move on to the facts of the case. Next question.
The facts of the case is we're in a court of law where you make legal.
Next question, RBR. Stop arguing with me. You know what? Actually, questioning over. Starting with closing arguments.
This is gonna be great on tomorrow's show.
RBR,
I'm a killer tomorrow on the show. But anyway, so my closing arguments are this: we are in a courtroom. Legal arguments are how you win your case. If you can't make legal arguments in a courtroom, then you can't make legal arguments on the Price is Right. This is not the Price is Right. This is a court of law. We go by legal arguments, legal precedent. We don't go by, you hate me because I'm black and you're a fucking racist. You hate me because I'm black and you're a goddamn coon. The issue was, if this motherfucker gets these Nazis back in power, they will kill us because they hate us because we're not white and we're not in the top 1%. You could look at communist countries and see how well they're doing. They're not doing very well at all. Why? Because they don't have any fucking black people in those countries. What I've proved today is that you don't understand what the definition of defamation was, then that's why you defamed me. What I'm proving today is that the goddamn judge is not the prosecutor and the judge and the bailiff and the Uber driver that drives everybody home. No, her job is to make sure that that Linwood gets a fair trial. He doesn't get a fair trial if you tell the prosecutor that he can't use legal arguments in a legal proceeding. That's stupid. The only arguments you can use are legal arguments. You can't say it's a war crime when there's no war. You can't say that answering your question is irrelevant to the question you asked. If I answer the question, then it's hella relevant to the question you asked. How did I publish? You didn't publish. I did. He came on my show and said he wanted to kill white people. We got to kill white people. We got to teach our kids to kill white people. So why would he do that? Because he wants somebody to kill me because he said it on my show. Now, then he asked me, well, how would somebody killing you hurt your business? What the fuck? How would someone kill me, hurt my, and asked it twice. Well, if you kill me, I couldn't run my business, and your stupid ass is too dumb to run it. You barely got out of the third grade. So what I've shown here is, one, he did it. Two, it wasn't true. I'm not trying to kill white people. I'm trying to keep people that want to kill us out of power. Three, it hurt me. Why? Because killing me and everybody in the black race would hurt me and everybody in the black race and everybody in the Mexican community and everybody in the Jewish community and the Asian community, all the gays and everybody else who's not 1% in the top richest 1% and who's not white. What else did you prove? I proved damages. Why? Because obviously hurting my channel would hurt me financially. I'm not monetized. How come? Because I'm not a Trump nut. Because I don't want to kill off my race and overthrow the U.S. government. So if he's coming on my show arguing that you shouldn't listen to me because you should kill me so he can get a seat at that table with Putin and Jill Stein and the motherfuckers, that's a ridiculous and stupid argument. We have two parties in the United States. We have the two major parties are the Republicans and the Democrats. Not the Nazis, not the communists, not the new Black Panther Party, Pookie. We have two parties, Republican and Democrat. You cannot argue that we kill Nancy Pelosi and hang Mike Pence and don't have a federal government, and then these racists grab their guns and start killing us. Margaret Sanger ain't killed nobody. Margaret Sanger invented and introduced birth control. Birth control doesn't kill anybody. A sperm cell is not a baby. Life doesn't begin after hello, nice to meet you. You're full of shit. These people that have killed millions and millions and millions of people call themselves pro-life. And you're killing millions of people. You better stop it. It's not true. I asked the jury to find this stupid ass dropout guilty. He defamed me. He has no right to defame me because he's jealous of me, because he's not me, because he's as dumb as the day is long. I know you might not like the truth. Stupid people don't understand the truth. When you're in a court of law, you are obligated to tell the truth. Lying is perjury. You don't get to win the argument by putting me on trial. I wasn't on trial. He has every right to sue me. Donald Trump has every right to sue me. One, he won't get no money because they won't pay me because I'm telling the truth, in part about Donald Trump. But he wouldn't win. Why? Because what he would have to say is true. That calling him a racist, Marxist, alt-right, neo-Nazi nut is going to hurt him with racist, alt-right, neo-Nazi nuts. And it won't. And so he can try to say that I defamed you guys, the Nazis, but you're not defaming a bunch of Nazis by calling them Nazis. They call themselves Nazis. It was called the Nazi Socialist Workers' Party. Lying. They weren't socialists. They were Nazis. So that's my argument to you. I know you hate me because I'm black and I have more experience, education, and knowledge. But you will have it too if you stop listening to these stupid ass racists. Stop watching Fox News. All right? Stop watching Newsmax. Stop watching Russia today. And stop believing every goddamn lie that these stupid ass racists tell you. Thank you. I hope you guys took notes. This idiot didn't score 1 point. I was killing him. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, once again, I would like to apologize to the members in the chat as well as those on the jury box for a lot of what you heard this evening. I take great responsibility for at times not staying on the case because the plaintiff was taking me into different parts, and at times the plaintiff was going at the judge and making a lot of obscene comments, racial slurs, and disparaging comments about the jury and people who have nothing to do with this case. I would also like to apologize because I am a rookie at this. I've not done court before or presented a case or even defended a case. I've never been in trouble with the law. You know, I'm a model citizen. I have a real life, and I take care of my girlfriend, and she's one of the greatest women I've ever met. And I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very proud of her. So I just want to extend that out to everybody, that I am a real person, not a personality. Defamation is a serious issue in this country. Everybody or anybody can be the target of defamation. It's thrown around today like a frisbee. Everybody's threatening to sue somebody because they disagreed on an issue. Everybody's threatening to say, you defamed me and you caused me to lose revenue. It's a serious thing, but everybody's using it because they want to silence their political opponents. The plaintiff in this case said a lot today. Said a mouthful, actually. A lot of it was in non sequiturs, but, you know, we live in a great country that we're able to do that. But I, myself, did not defame this man in his stance on white people. This man has consistently used his platform to say or to spread disinformation, defame our former president, whether you disagree with Mr. President, the former president, or not. I'm not a fan of President Trump. I'm not. I'm not a fan of the two major party system, but that's what we're stuck with. But the plaintiff has no right to say he's going to sue me or sue anybody for defamation when the plaintiff himself uses his platform on a regular basis to defame world leaders, as well as a former president, of committing an atrocity. And that is a crime. Killing 8 million people is a crime. It is uncalled for. And as much as I disagree with Mr. President Trump, I don't believe for a moment that President Trump intended to kill 8 million people with the coronavirus. I don't believe that Dr. Fauci is a murderer. But this kind of language has led to some very serious repercussions outside of social media. Dr. Fauci was threatened with violence and physical harm. A young man walked into a pizzeria joint in Washington, D.C. with a firearm loaded to the teeth because he heard on platforms such as YouTube from some personalities that they were running a child sex trafficking ring out of this pizza parlor. I apologize for that. My spouse was calling me. In this trial, I've learned a lot here about defamation. And no, I'm not an expert. I never have been. I'm a community college dropout, self-educated man. I'm still learning. But I'm just like you, ladies and gentlemen. I have an everyday life. I enjoy my life. I enjoy even getting on these chat lines, expressing my opposition to people's views that I feel are too extreme. But I will leave you tonight with this message. All of us need to be careful of the things we say about people, because we can ask Tasha K how her saying what she said about Carly B is costing her $4 million. Any of us can be a target of defamation, and all we did was express our opinion. But if our opinion hurts that person's reputation with the public, his or her ability to do business in a free market, or their ability to just be in public safely without being harmed by a regular person, words have consequences. Tools that can be used for constructive purposes or non-constructive purposes. In closing, I want to say thank you to everyone for being patient with me as well as the judge. It's been a trying night. Forgive me if I disappointed some people. I don't feel like I was the top of my game this evening, but I did my best to try to give you the best case possible and to try and stay on task. It was hard at times, but I just thank you for being patient with me in this court. Whatever you decide in that jury box, I want to say thank you. Whether I'm found guilty or innocent of these charges, thank you for your service. Much appreciated.
Lauren, unmute.
I was on mute. Thank you. I was going to say, I'm putting both of you backstage while I give jury instructions. I'm giving jury instructions right now. Henry, do you mind pulling up the definition for defamation that I gave you earlier with the 4 elements? And we will go over that really quickly for the final time for the jurors, and so that they have to know what is decided. Okay, so here is the definition of defamation. He's going to go down to the elements. So perfect. So you have to show that a false statement purporting to be a fact. So the statement in question is that RBR wants to kill white people. Okay, so whether it was proven by RBR that the statement was a fact, that it was published or communicated with to at least one other person, that the fault was malice. We're not looking at negligence because RBR has conceded that he is indeed a public figure. So that means that RBR had to have proven that Linwood said this statement knowing it was false. That's malice. And then the last one is damages. RBR would have had to show that the statement was either a per se defamation, which I didn't even hear any conversation about, or that he suffered damages. So that's what he needs to show. Can you also pull up the defenses? So the defenses are that it's true. So it's true. Linwood had to prove that it was either true that either one of those 4 elements didn't exist, or that it's true that the statement that he said, or that he had privilege, whether that be absolute or qualified. Keep going. Keep going. Whether or not it was innocent construction, so Linwood took a bunch of ideas and constructed the facts, or whether or not this was just Linwood's opinion. Okay, could we exit out of that, Henry? Perfect. Okay, so jury, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to hit the link in the back chat. So I'm going to pull you guys up. Here you guys are. And there's 2 versions of juror numbers. Okay, perfect. So you guys are going to go to back chat. You are going to look at that link and you're going to click that link, and we should be watching you leave right now. So that link is in back chat for you, and we should see y'all pop away one at a time so that we know that you guys are on your way to elsewhere. Perfect. Bye, juror number 1. You will be missed. Juror number 2, juror number 3. Perfect. Juror number 2, you got it. Juror number 3, go ahead and click that link in back chat and take that, and you will have your jury deliberations. Henry will be with you. If you need any help, he will help you. Do you see that link in back chat, juror number 3? Go ahead and click that. You should be leaving juror number 3. You should not remain here. You should take that link to back chat and go ahead and click that. Take it elsewhere. Don't know. Juror number 3, there is a link in the back of the chat. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Awesome. Now it is time to read super chats. So thank you everyone for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. So let's have you guys up for super chats. That'll be fun. Okay, so first one is from the Clues channel. It's $5. Thank you so much. This is going to be good. I agree. I thought that was really fun. So thank you for coming tonight. As your saints, yeah, all that experience, yet you can't do 3rd grade level math without a calculator, but you want to call people that disagree with you 3rd graders. Interesting, as your saints. Thank you for this super chat of $10. Pray the dumb away. RBR looks like RuPaul. Thank you so much for the $2. Preference and passion programming. Thank you for the $5 and laughs. I'm glad that you had a laugh. SKC, OMG, Lauren, thank you for the $5. OMG, Lauren, this has to be one of the greatest streams I've seen all year. Bravo. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's super kind. Henry, what's up? Maybe you have nothing to say? Okay, I'm going to remove you. Okay. Sheepy God, $5. If only Lauren could find RBR in contempt of intelligence. Oh, baby Jesus, please give this Buffy the Vampire Slayer looking Jew broad this power. Thank you so much. Small hats appreciated.
Just waiting on juror number 3. I think they might be having some technical issues.
Juror number 3.
It might be a little
you're still here.
Well, it might be a little stupid like the rest of you.
Okay.
I apologize for your stupidity, okay?
You're calling the jurors who are about to decide your fate right now stupid?
We'd like to. I'm still under oath. I'm still under oath, Laura, and I have to tell the truth.
Okay.
He make 1 point. How many points did he score? None.
Okay.
Not one. He didn't make 1 point.
Okay, that's okay. Linwood already admitted to saying RBR wanted to kill white people. Right, yeah, so he did. That's true, and I made a bad point earlier when I said, well, did you prove that? Yeah, okay. If he can't prove RBR actually said that, then Linwood is guilty by defaming RBR. Okay, well, thank you so much, Woke Progressive 3.0, for the $5. Very much appreciate it. So I have actually never done a poll before, but that sounds like fun, and people have been asking to do a poll. So let's figure out how to do a poll, shall we? Because I want to do a poll to determine who won as well. I have no idea how to set a poll. Do you know how to set a poll, RBR?
Yes. What you have to do is you have to, when you first log on, you would have to close that poll out. When you close the poll, you could put another poll in. So the poll that you have up,
I don't have a
close
poll
it.
up.
No, I thought you had a poll up.
No, okay. I've never made a poll, which is why I'm asking you right now how to.
No. Okay, I thought you had some polls up there. I saw in the chat room. Okay, well, there should be 3 at the top where it says chat. There should be 3 dots, and then you can. One of them should be the poll. Wow, I thought you had the poll.
I am not seeing anything like that. Hold on. I'm not seeing the 3 dots that you're referring to. So
Yeah,
I have no idea.
on the right-hand side, it should.
Does anyone else know how to make a poll?
I've done polls a lot of times. But basically, they hate me because of my race and my intelligence.
If you've done a poll a lot of times, then do an efficient job of explaining to me how to make a poll.
Well, I'd have to go to my. I've never done a poll on someone else's because I don't have the mechanism here to make a poll on your channel. But it shows how inexperienced and stupid you are that you can't even figure this shit out. There's a poll right there. It says, "Is Linwood?"
Whoa! Excuse me. Wait a minute. You may disagree with her. That's fine, but stop the insults. Enough already.
She's gonna be a good lawyer, but not now. She's too dumb. Now, if she believes that she's okay, she's ready to take on the case and defend Donald Trump.
Listen.
Donald Trump is gonna have a fool for a lawyer.
Want to show me how to make a poll? Anybody want to come up and teach me how to make a flipping poll?
None of this are geniuses. Some of us take time
in the chat room right now.
Yes, Henry.
What poll do you
I
need?
would like to determine who won according to the chat, Linwood or RBR.
Okay, I'll do that and I'll go back to the jury room. They're deliberating.
This is why I love you. I have a producer. He does stuff for me. Oh, we got 65 likes. We have more people in chat than we have likes. So hopefully if you haven't liked us so far, go ahead and give us a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Please, I have a number in my head, a goal of what I'm hoping to hit. And we're so close to that number. Let's see how close we are. Let's see how close. We are 28 subs away from my goal number. So, probably won't happen tonight, but please give us a sub. Why not? Try to help me get there. Oh, so Linwood, what did you learn? You said you learned a lot about defamation. What did you learn about defamation? You're gonna stay. Go ahead, Linwood. Linwood cannot hear you.
I think you have us muted. He's too dumb to
He's not muted. He's definitely not muted. I'll mute him now, and then he can unmute himself. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. What did you learn about defamation?
We're black, but Lauren's not. Okay.
What does that have to do with anything? But okay. You got.
Your race has to do anything. It's why you hate me.
I don't hate anybody. I don't hate you because I do hate you because you're black. I think that's just ridiculous.
You wouldn't be trying to get white people to kill me if you didn't hate me.
Well, I have not told any white person.
Definition of the word hate.
Any white person to hate you or to kill you. Now, based on your statement,
that'll do it all day long.
Based on your statement on your show.
Yes, on my show, I stated that people who want to kill black people shouldn't be in charge of the government. Now,
but wait a minute. What? Excuse me. What white person? What Republican? You refer to Republicans as Nazis. I have not heard a single Republican say or a Democrat say.
Hitler did. Did you ever hear? Did Hitler ever say he was a Nazi? He was the head of the Nazi.
Hitler admitted he was a Nazi. Hitler produced the Nazi Party. But once again.
Wait,
But once, wait a minute, the Nazi Party actually, the Nazi Party actually only gained a few seats in the parliament before they took over the entire parliament.
What about the neo-Nazis? What's a
And they
neo-Nazi?
thought, oh, he was a
What's
kook,
neo-Nazi?
and people
What's a
ignored him.
neo-Nazi?
The
What's a
neo-Nazi, the whole neo-Nazi philosophy came from George Lincoln Rockwell and Henry Ford. And yes, the guy who made Ford motor cars believed in that ideology.
Yeah, well, that's stupid. The purpose.
One thing I want to ask everyone really quick, I can't figure out how to make a poll. I've tried. So here's what we're going to do. Put a 1 in chat if you felt like RBR won. Put a 2 in chat if Linwood won.
I don't think I was at my best, but I tried my best.
So we got the Midtown Pookie says 1 for RBR. Okay, we got 1 for one for Trisha Bennett. We got Linwood. 2 for Linwood, 3 for Linwood, 2 for RBR, 4 for Linwood, 3 for RBR, 5 for Linwood, 6 for Linwood, 7 for Linwood, 8 for Linwood. What were we on? 4 for RBR? I'm losing track with two different counts. 9, 10. So far, the chat's saying Linwood won. But I'm definitely seeing some votes for RBR as well. I really wish I could figure out how to make a poll. If literally anyone knows how to make a poll, I'm going to invite people and you could stay back chat. Like Henry did 3 polls. Oh, Henry did a poll? Why can't I see the poll? Why can't I see it? Where is this? I would love somebody to walk me through flipping StreamYard. I don't see the poll. I do not see the poll. Where the hell is it? Okay, well, I believe that there's a poll. And I'll let Henry give the announcement of the poll because I don't even know where it is. I can't even see it. So there is that. I'm feeling really intelligent right now. I'm sure RBR thinks I'm intelligent right now too. What do you guys have predictions as to who won, Linwood and RBR versus the
I believe that the best man won. If RBR won, congratulations. If I won, that's great.
You won. Well, see, they're going to say you won because they have the same mental capacity as you. See, they hate me because they think that they want a white utopia. They want a country.
I mean, we're familiar with this. We're familiar with this. You know,
right.
you and I are familiar with this kind of behavior.
You didn't study Marxism.
I'm reading a book called The Communist Manifesto.
I know, you're reading a book written by goddamn Marxists. So the Marxists are not going to tell you that they want 1% white rule based on race and class. How are they going to get in power? How is the Russian government going to get in power in Cuba when Cuba's a democratic government? They're going to invade the government. They're going to take their guns and rush Batista out of the country and kill everybody who opposes them. How did Russia take over the Soviet Union, which used to be called the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics? Now it's a communist country. They had a communist revolution over Mao's Chinese government. So how are they planning it here? Get rid of the government. They take their damn guns and they just kill the racial and ethnic minorities and call the race war a culture war. It's not a culture war. It's a race war. And it's not a war. It's a slaughter. It's a genocide.
I'm going to the bathroom really quick. Try not to bomb on me or do anything.
That's not a defamation. That is really in the Nazi platform. No person.
Now, that's a Nazi platform. That's a Nazi platform.
But Nazis. Hold on. Linwood. You said it yourself. You just said it about 30 seconds ago. You said the Nazi ideology. So yes, they had a political platform to kill everybody in Germany that wasn't white, that wasn't Aryan, because Jews are white, so Hispanics are white. So if you have a Nazi ideology,
Is not a race.
hold on. If you have a Nazi ideology, you can't say you're not a Nazi. And that's my point. It's an ideology. It's not a race.
I mean, well, Hitler talked about socialism and where he wanted socialism.
Okay,
The
you got
Nazi Socialist Party was about socialism.
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. Your
But
lack
Marx
of education.
but Marx came way before.
I know.
Hitler.
Thank you. Now, what I said was the reason Hitler didn't like Karl Marx is because Karl Marx was Jewish. Do you not understand that? Hitler was just as dumb as Lauren. He thought that Jewish people were mixed race blacks. Does Lauren look like a mixed race black person to you?
No.
Okay. To Hitler, he
But
thought. So what I'm saying is Hitler was a Marxist too. He just didn't like Jews, and Engels and Karl Marx were Jewish. Now, Karl Marx said that Karl Marx was not a socialist, but he said if you tell them you're a damn Nazi, they probably wouldn't elect you. So you do the black community and the country and society a disservice by taking Nazis who know damn good and well they're not going to get elected if they tell anybody they're a fucking Nazi. And you're saying, well, they're not Nazis because they're not Hitler and they didn't say they were Nazis. No, Donald Trump says he's not racist. He wouldn't have got elected. I knew he was a racist because I went to college and shit and I have some sense. But you don't say that if you don't say you're racist, then you can kill 8 million people and you wouldn't be considered a racist.
Hold on a second here, because President Trump's practice of racism was already well documented from his lawsuits about denying non-white tenants residence in his apartment.
That's irrelevant. Okay. You can't say somebody's not racist because they're lying about not being racist. Now stop.
Second, he also took out a page ad in the New York Times calling for the death penalty for the exonerated.
Lauren think he's racist. Hold on. Lauren is lying about Trump being racist. Because everybody on earth is not racist.
If she supports Donald Trump, that's her choice. Now, I disagree with Ms. DeLaguna's views about supporting a man who actually...
If she wants to kill everybody black, that's not her choice.
Don't stop. Tell Beta to please come try to take my Glock. You want to impeach him. I guess that's what you do when you can't beat him.
Oh, goodness. Okay, Miss.
Okay.
Oh, Miss Laguna.
Don't tell her that Trump is not president. You know she still thinks he's president.
Trump is your president. If you like it or not.
Donald Trump is not the president anymore. He's trying to run for re-election.
Don't tell her that.
He's trying to run for re-election.
Stop. Tell Beta. Okay, I'm done.
Fox just got sued for saying he was president. And he stole the election, but Lauren's too dumb. She doesn't even know that. She doesn't know that the Fox was sued. She's too stupid.
Oh, I was totally unaware. I don't have a morning show where I go over the news. Oh, this is a good time to make an announcement. I have a morning show where I go over the news. It's really early in the morning. So if you're on the East Coast or on the West Coast, it should be like either live or finished before you go to work. So what I do on the morning show is I find a couple of stories that I find really interesting and I delve into them. And then after I'm done with that, I go to CNN, then Fox, then NPR, then BBC and see what they're saying. So, and I just read a bunch of articles from that. And I do that every morning on weekdays, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. California time, which is 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Miss DeLaguna. Though the plaintiff has accused you of being a racist and a Nazi, now my personal view of you, I suspect you're a racist, but I don't know you're a racist.
Me? You think I'm a racist?
I suspect. I don't know you are.
Who do you suspect that?
I only can suspect you are practicing racism. The only person that can verify to me that you're not is another white person. But I can suspect that you are. Suspect.
Okay,
I
well,
have to
I'm
be,
not.
I have
And
to
also,
be
our
proven.
jury is back. So I am going to let them make who. First of all, who did we decide on a 4-person jurors?
We did, Your Honor.
Okay. 4-person, can you please tell us whether or not Linwood is liable for defamation to RBR?
In the civil case of Real Brother Network versus Linwood, we find that Linwood is not liable for defamation for the statement of killing all white people.
Thank you so much for taking this so seriously. Thank you so much for your deliberations and for coming back. And a very, very, very special thank you to both RBR and Linwood for coming prepared, for making this argument, and for doing it on Law and Order. It takes guts, and you guys are all awesome. So thank you, everyone on panel, for being
I
here.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Alrighty. Well, I hope y'all have a good night, and definitely click subscribe right now and then click tomorrow to watch the deliberation of the jurors, because that'll be extremely interesting. I can't wait to see what they talked about back there.
Well,
So,
did they have? I want a question for the jury. Did you guys wear your hood?
okay. Thank you so much. That's the end of the show. Good night, everyone.